वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Now we shall chant the Bhagavad Gita verse from the second chapter, that is the 14th verse. I think it is displayed there on the screen. You can also see that. If you have the books, you can follow after me. Shri Bhagavan Shri Bhagavan Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha Shitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha Agama Payino Anityaha Tam Stitikshasva Bharata Tam Stitikshasva Bharata. Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna, Kaunteya. Kaunteya means, O Arjuna, Matra Sparshastu, sense organs and objects of senses. Shitoshna Sukhadukkadaha, which causes cold and heat, pleasure and pain. Agama apayino anityaha. Agama apayinaha are subject to arrival and departure. Anityaha, they are impermanent. Bharata, O Arjuna, from the king, there was one great king called Bharata. So, because of him, our country, that is India, India's real name is Bharat. The name India is given by the Persians and other people, foreigners, and that is taken by us. But in reality, the real name of the whole country is called Bharat. It comes from a great king, Bharata. So that he comes from the family of that great king, Bharata. So Arjuna is also addressed. Just like Rama came from the great lineage of King Raghu. So he is also called Raghava, Raghuvamsha. Likewise, Arjuna comes from this great king's family, Bharata. So he is called now Bharata. O Arjuna, Titikshasva, Tan, endure them. O Arjuna, sense organs and objects of senses which cause cold, heat, pleasure and pain are subject to arrival and departure, just like the aeroplanes in the airport and also the trains in the railway station. They are impermanent. They come and go. Arjuna, endure them. Here Krishna says that just as you understand and accept the nature of Atman, which is real and permanent, eternal, similarly you should understand and accept the nature of Anatman, this world, this body, this nature too, which is unreal, which is not eternal, temporary. So since it is not eternal, it is temporary, it will cause you all these good and bad, the opposite dualities. So all these things, heat and cold, everything will come. So forbear. Do not worry. Do not get into the mode of, because the good things are going away, don't be in that suffering mode. The now bad things are going and good things are coming, so don't get excited. So they are impermanent. O Arjuna, endure them. Because there is no choice, because the nature of the things can never be changed. Wisdom consists in accepting the nature of a thing. So similarly, you should understand and accept the nature of Anatman, this world, the nature too. Now, we had studied this in the last class to some extent. We are again recapitulating or revising that same thing so that the knowledge becomes more deeper and deeper. The important thing is, now here there are many hints given by Lord Krishna in this verse which are very practical to overcome difficulties, problems of life. So it's very, very practical in our life, the modern day, or any, for that sake, any age or any time. We get a lot of hints through this verse. Lord Krishna is giving us how to face the problems of the life, how you can overcome them. That's why I'm revising it as well as also going deeper into it and explaining it in different angles and different perspective. So now, when it can't be avoided, there is no choice because the nature of the thing can never be changed. So, what is the answer? Why do you say the nature of thing cannot be changed? Very simple. What cannot be changed is called the nature of a thing. What is the definition of a nature of a thing? The nature of a thing means that particular book has some nature, the computer has some nature, the clock has some nature, the table lamp has some nature, the table itself has some nature. So everything has some nature. So what is the meaning of nature? So that but nature of a thing means that which cannot be changed. It is called the nature of the thing. So if you go to change the nature of the thing, that is not good on your part. So what cannot be changed is called nature of the thing. So an intelligent person never struggles to change the nature, which is sheer waste of time. On the other hand, then what is practical? What does he do? Instead of wasting the time struggling to change the nature of the thing or the person, he learns to change his own attitude within. You can change yourself. That's very easy. You have the choice. You have the freedom. You can do that. You have the strength within you. So you can change. But to change the nature of the external thing is impossible. It's just like the dog's curly tail. You try and try. Again, it will come back to the same thing. Back to square one. That's why it's really wisdom not to waste time struggling to change the nature. So we will learn to change the attitude, our inner attitude towards the external things and external people. So to change the attitude is accepting things as they are. I accept the nature of this body as it is. It goes on changing. In the last verse we saw, from babyhood to childhood, then from childhood to youth, from youth to old age, disease, everything it is changing. So if you go on crying, oh, I'm losing everything, health and everything, it is just suffering and suffering. Accept and learn to live with that. What cannot be cured has to be endured. So changing the attitude, accepting everything as it is, accept the nature of the body, accept the nature of the external world, our mind and people outside. So it becomes a new orientation. It should become natural to me. Because if you analyze, most of our problems are not accepting the nature of the thing. So when summer comes, we complain that sun is too hot. And when winter comes, you tell that it's very cold. Rainy season, oh, it's always raining, I cannot come out. If there is no rain, oh, there is drought and we are not having good crops. Everything you complain and complain, you cannot accept. You have to enjoy everything. Instead of that, enjoy the sun. See the creation of the sun the Lord has done to you so far away, and the light comes to us and helps us. The whole world is working because of that sun. So can you find out another source like that without any pollution? We are trying so much, we couldn't do. No scientist could do like a sun. So God has created that beautiful sun. Oh, it's sweating, so much of sweating. Yes, that is a good thing that the Lord has done, the internal mechanism whereby you can put out the sweat, the bad things, excrete bad things. So is it not good? Salt and other things are going out. So accept it. So learn to change the attitude and you see, you will enjoy everything. There will be no suffering then. So accept as it is. That's very, very important. I just wanted to give an example because many things, as I told you, the moral figure of speech. So everything, if you tell those qualities, it will not be so useful. But when you give some examples, if it has been practiced in somebody's life with some stories and anecdotes, then it will be very easy to take it into our life. How can we change within? How can we change our attitude to the external things and people and to the furnitures and everything? I'll give you a beautiful example that will make it clear, and also it will, you can practice it. It's very, very important. Okay, I will give the example of one very old lady. A lady was over 90 years, had a great flair towards dressing up well, applying makeups and arranging her hair in beautiful patterns. She and her husband had been married to each other for 70 years. After the departure of her beloved partner, having no children and no one in the family to care for, she decided to move to a nursing home. That is an old age home. Even on the day when she vacated her home for good, she dressed up elegantly and looked gorgeous. After arriving at the nursing home, she had to wait patiently in the lobby for hours before room was ready. Now all the problems started then. When an attendant helped her make her way to the room, that attendant gave the lady a visual description of the tiny space. Now she was all through living in a very big bungalow, a palatial building. Now she is coming to a tiny space that she was meant to occupy the rest of her life. Now, when that attendant started describing the bad condition, the furnitures, the small space, then the old lady replied with joy, "I love it." The old lady expressed with the enthusiasm of an 8-year-old who had just been presented with a new puppy. She was so joyful when she told about the small dingy room with bad furniture, not arranged properly, no window, no light, no air, no circulation, no ventilation, that and this, so many complaints by the attendant. But that old lady, that mother, expressed her joy with gleaming eyes. "I love it." The lady expressed with the enthusiasm of an 8-year-old who had just been presented with a new puppy. Now it was the turn of the attendant to get flabbergasted or surprised. The attendant told Mrs. Jones, you haven't even seen the room yet. Just wait. Then after that you can express your joy and you start loving it." Now the old lady replied, it's a lesson to all of us. Now note the words. It's very, very important. The word of that old lady. "Well, my joy has nothing to do with the room." Well, my joy has nothing to do with the condition of the room. Now, whether I like my room or not doesn't depend on how the furniture is arranged. Rather, it depends on how I arrange my mind. So, how I have arranged my mind is important than the arrangement of the furniture in the room. So, the joy of my mind doesn't depend upon the arrangement of the furniture and other things in the room, but how I arrange my mind is very, very important. That makes me happy and joyful. Happiness, see another wonderful statement by that old lady. Happiness is something you can decide ahead of time. It's in your hand. Happiness is that thing which you can decide ahead of time. And I have already decided to love my room, to love the people around, to love the things around. It's a decision that I make every morning when I wake up. You know what? The greatest asset the Lord has given is we all have the power to choose how we feel. The lady continued speaking as the attendant listened attentively with his mouth, the attendant with his mouth wide open. The old lady is telling, I can spend my entire day in bed thinking of the pain I am in, focusing on the parts of my body that no longer works. Or I can get out of bed and be thankful to those parts that do work. Each day is a gift from the Lord. And as long as my eyes can still open, as long as my lids and eyes can open, I will continue to focus on today, live in the present, mindfulness, awareness. I'll try to focus on today and all the happy memories I have stored in my mind just for this time in my life. The attendant was astounded by the positive attitude of the elderly lady, whose life from an external point of view was only full of problems and hopelessness. Actually, only problems now. Conclusion. The conclusion after all this hearing. Now we have to connect to the words of Krishna. Agama apainaha anityaha tam titikshasva bharat. Matras prashastu kaunteya. Shitoshna sukadukkadaha. So how can we connect now? Now these concluding statements are very, very important. Like all the whole story is important, this concluding statement also will really help you. How? What is that concluding statement? Actually, problems happens automatically. Happiness is a choice we all have to make. Hatred happens automatically. Love is a choice we all have to make. Being negative happens automatically. Positive attitude is a choice we all have to make. It's in our hand. It's very easy to change the attitude, positive attitude. The other things are the mind always, you see, just like the water always goes down to the pit, it will never come up. But you have the capacity to lift your mind up. You need not train your mind to become negative. It's by nature, it will be there. Automatically, it will come. All those things. All of us think about this world in that fashion, negative way, hatred, and all those things will be there. You need not train a monkey to climb the tree. You need not put a ladder for the monkey to climb the tree. The monkey knows it. Likewise, the mind and other things are naturally trained in a fashion to think always negatively. But you can make the choice, you can change it. Hatred happens automatically. Love is a choice we all have to make. Being negative happens automatically. Positive attitude is a choice we all have to make. Complaining is automatic. Gratitude is a choice we all have to make. Let's choose right and live well. What a wonderful story. How nice to hear about that. It gives so much of satisfaction, isn't it? So, these things are very, very important. So, with the help of this verse of Lord Krishna, the teaching of Krishna, we can adapt, we can change within. So, now we can see here, therefore, Krishna is telling Matra Sparshast. Matra means the sense organs. Ma means to know, to experience. That is called Ma. Pramanam has come from that word. Tra means instrument. So Matra means instrument of experience. Niyati abhihi iti matraha. And what are the instruments of experience? The Pancha Gnanendriya, the 5 sense organs. So they are there. And outside objects of senses, sense objects, sparsha. Sparsha means the contact with the sense objects. So now the sense organs goes and gets in contact with the sense objects. Then we get all the result out of it. What is that? Sparshante iti sparshaha. So whether you like it or not, there are sense organs and there are sense objects and they are going to interact. You cannot avoid interaction like some people want to meditate to go to the caves in Himalayas. If he goes there too, you have the senses, you have the same mind, the same problem, but different problems. It is just like the old wine in the new bottle. Place may be there, you have run away, you have escaped to a different place to the caves of Himalayas. But can you change your sense organs? Can you put off your sense organs or your mind? No. That is important. Changing attitude is important, not changing the place, external place. So even if you go to the Himalayas to meditate, you may avoid the bad roads, potholes, the pollution, the sound of the city, the traffic jam, so many other things. But can you avoid the insects, the mosquitoes, which will come and ring in your ears, play music? You cannot escape problems anywhere. So, what is the best method? Learn to love, learn to live in any situation rather than run away. When you run away, so all the problems starts. When you try to escape, when you try to flee, never try to escape or flee. So then all the problems starts then only. We have a wonderful example of Swami Vivekananda. It's a very simple story which happened in the life of Swami Vivekananda, but that will help us to understand this situation explained by Sri Krishna here, and we can adopt that in our life. It's a very practical example. Swami Vivekananda was walking on the bank of a lake and the embankment of a lake, the tank. So on the other side was a big wall, long wall. So you can't go that side, there is a wall. And here is the road on which Swami Vivekananda is walking. The other side is the big lake, the reservoir of water. So now that was near Kashi, in Kashi, when Swami Vivekananda was walking there. What happened? Lot of big monkeys. If you go to Kashi, you can see Varanasi, that a lot of big monkeys are there. One of the monkeys started chasing Swami Vivekananda. What is the natural tendency? If the monkey is trying to bite you or coming to chase you, so it's a reflex action. Swami Vivekananda started running. So when seeing this, another monkey started chasing him again. So another monkey. So there were so many 30, 40 monkeys following Vivekananda, making sounds, making ugly faces, and Vivekananda is running. They're all catching up with Vivekananda, about to catch his leg or bite him. Then, while Swami Vivekananda was running, there was another sadhu sitting there, old sadhu. He told Sadhu, don't run, face the brutes. Then immediately Vivekananda stood. Then all the 40, 50 monkeys stood there. Then Vivekananda turned back and faced the monkeys. And all the monkeys started turning back and running away. Just one step and all the monkeys ran away and they escaped. So this is a very incident. It might have happened in anybody's life. It's a very simple incident. But Swami Vivekananda gives a wonderful comparison and example by which we can take into our life and get help from that. What is that? He tells, problems come to you, troubles come to you, just like Shita, Ushna, dualities. Always these opposites, pair of opposites will be always coming. Pleasure, pain, insults and respect, rewards, success and failures, like that they come. So do not flee, do not be afraid, do not worry, do not get stressed, do not run away out of fear. So what Vivekananda tells is, when you get all these difficulties and problems in your life, do not try to escape, do not run away. If you run, then more problems will come to you, just like the monkeys. More monkeys will follow you, just like that, more problems will follow you. And they may attack you too. But if you face one problem, then the problems get solved. All the problems will vanish. So never run away. Face, accept it, and face the problems. Sublimate it. Don't suppress it. Sublimate it. Give it a beautiful Godwardly turn. Recently, I had a wonderful saying. What is that beautiful saying? The saying is, when you turn your worries into worship, when you turn your worries into worship, God will turn your battles into blessings. What a wonderful statement. When you turn your worries and problems into worship, God will turn your battles into blessings. So, likewise, Swami Vivekananda's beautiful statement is face, accept them, face it. Do not run away, do not escape, or do not be cowed down by the problems. Face it, then there will be no problem at all. You will get more stronger and stronger. The more problems you face, the more stronger you become. So it's just like you all know in your childhood, you are given the vaccinations, the inoculations. So your resistance capacity will increase when you face the problem, when you accept it. That's why the vaccinations and the inoculations are given for cholera, typhoid, for malaria. So when you are injected with the weak viruses or bacteria of that particular disease, your resistance will increase. You become more stronger. Similarly, if you face the situation, then we can strengthen our mind, and therefore Arjuna accept them. And what will they give you? Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha Daha. They will give you heat and cold, pleasure and pain, all the opposites, etc. That is the opposite experience. So the whole life is a series of opposite experiences. If mana, if you get many people reward you, they give you respect, then they will also, some other people will do you apamanam. They may insult you too. So both of them will come. Sanyoga, you meet people who are very close to you, take place, then there will be viyoga also. You have to depart. They have to leave you and go away. If there is growth, there will be decay. If there is gain, there will be loss. Life is a series of such dualities, pairs of opposites. This is the nature of this anatman, this world, this nature, other than the atman. So this is the nature. Agama apayinaha. Agama apayinaha means they are all subject to arrival and departure. Agama means arrival, apayinaha means departure. They are subject to arrival and departure, and therefore mentally be ready to welcome them when they come. Agate swagatam kuryat. Gachantam na nivarayet. When they come, be mentally prepared to welcome. When they go, be mentally prepared to send them off. Another great statement of Swami Vivekananda was, neither seek nor avoid. Neither seek nor avoid. Just go on, don't go on seeking problems, or don't go on seeking pleasures and other things. At the same time, when pleasures or pain come, don't avoid it. Work and other difficulties or other problems come, then don't avoid it. Neither seek nor avoid. That's the statement, great statement of Swami Vivekananda. Therefore, be ready for both. So now, when I heard this word, Agama apayano anityaha tam titikshasva bharata, I remember one incident from the life of Swami Sureshanandaji Maharaj. He is no more. He was the correspondent of one big residential school and college in Mysore. It was called Ramakrishna Vidyashala. So there, in the holidays, especially in the summer holidays and the winter holidays, it will be maybe summer holidays will be something like to the tune of 1.5 months or 1 month. So no students, nothing, no purchases from the market, no cooks. They have gone to the holidays. The Swamis there living, the brahmacharis who are living there. So there will be no special food and material and other things which are prepared for the students. Ordinary food will be there. No cooks, so ordinary, simple food will be there. So it's only prepared for the students. So when that is prepared, the sadhus also take it. So it so happened, Swami Sureshanandaji Maharaj was a good cook as well as a good gardener. So he had grown lot of papaya. You know papaya. So lot of papaya plants were planted and lot of papaya had come. So no students. So all the sadhus only have to eat it. So sambar is papaya, curry is papaya. Morning you for eating fruits you have papaya, ripened papaya. So the unripened papaya is made into curries, and morning papaya, noon papaya, evening papaya, night supper papaya. So the Swamis got so many days fed up with this papaya. They complained to Swamiji, Swamiji, what is this? No other vegetables, different other vegetables. It is just papaya and papaya. Then Swami Sureshanandaji Maharaj wonderfully transformed this Bhagavad Gita shloka very nicely and told, Agama papayino anityaha tam titikshasva bharata. This papaya will come and go away. It's temporary, maybe in another 1 or 2 days. So do not worry. Eat as much as possible and keep quiet. It will go away in 4 more days. Agama, instead of Agama, apayino anityaha. He so nicely was expert in Bhagavad Gita. So he so nicely twisted this term, Agama apayino anityaha. He told Agama papayino anityaha. The temporary, bear with that. Eat as much as possible. So that was wonderfully put into it. So now going forward about this verse, there is a word titiksha. It's very, very important character as I told. These are all wonderful nature you have to get. Just like there are so many negative natures, the Arishad Vargas, there are so many good nature, good character, moral figure of speech, they tell. So titiksha is one of them. The moral character. Forbearance. What kind of forbearance? So now this verse we have to go deeply and see all those things because it is very helpful in our life, in our day-to-day life. These are all very practical things. So we will see from another perspective how this words of Lord Krishna has been described. O son of Kunti, the contact between the senses and the sense objects gives rise to fleeting perceptions of happiness and distress. These are non-permanent and come and go like the winter and summer seasons. O descendant of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So repeating that again and again, chanting this Bhagavad Gita again and again, it goes deeply into our mind. Just like you have to put a stump deep into the ground, then you go on hitting the head of that stump with a hammer, heavy hammer, then you turn it this way, that way, and hit it again so that it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. Like that, again and again, we have to repeat these mantras. Meditate on that. Think on that. Then it goes deeper into a subconscious mind, and then we can practice it in our day-to-day life. So the human body houses 5 senses, the senses of sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing, and these in contact with their objects of perception gives rise to sensations of happiness and distress. None of these sensations is permanent. They come and go like the changing seasons. Although cool water provides pleasure in the summer, the same water gives distress in the winter. Thus, both the perceptions of happiness and distress experienced through the senses are transitory. If we permit ourselves to be affected by them, we will sway like a pendulum from side to side. A person of discrimination, Viveka, should practice to tolerate both the feelings of happiness and distress without being disturbed by them. Holy Mother Sharda Devi used to tell in Bengali a beautiful statement. I will explain the meaning to first I will tell that Bengali statement. What was that? Surjo chirodiner, megho dui diner. Surya, Lord, Surya, sun, is eternally staying there in the sky. But the clouds, they come, they are fleeting, they come and go away. So they are temporary. So the clouds come and cover and they don't allow the light to come. It will be gloomy. You'll be feeling very sad. You want sun. So when the clouds come, you feel sorrowful. It's just like sorrows, difficulties in life. So Mother Sharda Devi is telling, Megho, clouds, dui diner. It's only for 2 days. Surjo, sun, Chirodiner, is eternal. Is there from so many years and he will be hence there in future. So, Surya is eternally there. That means the Lord is eternal, permanent, and is full of joy. Your life will be full of joy if you realize that. But these difficulties and other things, good and bad, and these dualities, they come and go just like the clouds. They may cover the sun for maybe a day or half a day or a week or even months. Don't worry, it is only for a few days, it will go away. So, difficulties or anything, it will come and go away. So, do not worry about that. Holy Mother used to tell, do not be worried about those things, it will come and go away. Surjo Chirodine, sun is eternal. Megha Duidine, the clouds are only for 1 or 2 days. Don't worry about the clouds, the difficulties in your life. So now going forward, as I told you, one more way of thinking, we shall take the help of the olden days Buddhist monks. So in Buddhism, there are so many different schools. So you have this Hinayana, Mahayana. In the Hinayana, and there is also Vajrayana, so many different schools are there in Buddhism. In the Hinayana, they follow one technique, the technique of Vipassana, which is the primary technique of self-realization in one of the school of Buddhism, is based on the principle of tolerance of sense perception. Its practice helps eliminate desire, which, as stated in the Four Noble Truths, what are the Four Noble Truths told by Lord Buddha? The truth of suffering, the truth of origin of suffering, the truth of cessation of suffering, and the truth of path leading to the cessation. So, what is the origin of suffering? Desire. So, to practice to help eliminate desire, which is stated in the Four Noble Truths, is the cause of all suffering. So, this is not surprising considering that Buddhist philosophy is a subset of vast Vedic philosophy. So, again, I will read the Four Noble Truths told in Buddhism. What are those? Told by Lord Buddha. The truth of suffering. Then the truth of origin of suffering. The truth of the cessation of suffering, and the truth of the path leading to the cessation. Now, what is the root cause? Desire. Giving up desire is the root cause. The root cause will help you overcome that suffering. Okay, now we shall go to another different angle, another different perspective of seeing the same problem, same dualities coming in our life. What is that another perspective? Because we have to think from different angle. If we are just colorblind, or if we are having blinkers, then we will not enjoy it. We can get different perspective of the same problem and remove it. So even cessation of the problem, fighting the path also, there should be variety and you can enjoy it. So even the fighting with these problems will become an enjoyment. Just like the game, sportive spirit, while you're fighting in the game or the war, you enjoy it. So you can enjoy it, even that too. So we will see to different angle. What is the other angle? I'm going to bring you to that different angle too. So now here Lord Krishna is telling in this, the contact of the senses with their sense objects create, O son of Kunti, feelings of heat and cold. The dualities pain and pleasure. They come and go and are impermanent. Bear them patiently, O Bharata. The sense organs, such as the eye and the ear, the sense organs, such as the eye and the ear, contact their objects which are form, sound, etc. The sensations caused this way are both favorable sometimes and unfavorable. The former feelings lead to pleasure and the latter to pain. These feelings come along with sense contact and disappear when the senses do not function. A sense object that gives pleasure at one time gives also pain at another time. So heat and cold may be cited as example. The food that is delicious and inviting while one is in good health is loathsome, is troublesome when you are sick, when your health is not good. Pleasure and pain are therefore transitory. I just remember another humor. There was a sweetmeat stall. So in that sweet stall, they had put the advertisement. The name, big name was there, but in the advertisement for taking for the job there in the salesman or the to work in that sweetmeat stall or the sweet stall, what was the condition? They told you can apply only if you are diabetic. So before diabetes or you get sugar complaint, you have sugar, then you love sweet, you enjoy sweet, but the same sweet you cannot even look at, you will start hating it if you get diabetes. So here the sweetmeat stop people were very intelligent to tell that only diabetic people are allowed to work in our shop. Otherwise, all the sweets will be emptied, the good sweets will be emptied by these workers or the staff itself. So the condition for getting a job in the sweetmeat stall is you have to be diabetic. So this proves that when you are healthy, the same food which is tasting good, when you are sick, it's loathsome, you'll start hating it, you cannot eat it. So they are transitory. Pleasure and pain are therefore transitory. It becomes reversed. Sometimes that will be reversed, this will be reversed. So he who remains unaffected by them becomes firm in life. Practice of titiksha or forbearance is a sure means to healthy mindedness. The practice thereof is not affected by pleasure and pain. It becomes competent for enlightenment. Now we saw some different perspective, one more perspective, one more angle. We will see how we can deal the problem of these problems, deal the problems of these problems, varieties of problems. So what is that another angle by which we can see this and overcome these problems in our life? Yes, again we will go to the words of Krishna and explain it in a different way and get the answer, get the solution. What is that? Endless number of pairs of opposite makes up the world. Endless number of pairs of opposite makes this world. This whole world is just endless pair of opposites. Contact made with the world are said to cause heat and cold, joy and sorrow. These pairs of opposites symbolize the external experiences of the physical body and the internal experience of the mind. All are transient, fleeting. They pass away. War and peace, birth and death, profit and loss, good and bad, pleasure and pain, honor and dishonor, ad infinitum, comes and goes. Your life is a continuous flow of experiences of these transitory opposites. I just remembered one good example to make this a little more humorous. And what is that? The pair of opposite is, now I told so many ad infinitum. heat and cold, pleasure and pain. I remembered another opposite, that is daughter-in-law and mother-in-law. So that is also a pair of opposite in the life you can see. So there is a saying in India, a good time will come for mother-in-law and bad time also will come for mother-in-law. When she was the daughter-in-law, she would have bad time. When she became the mother-in-law, it's good time. Then the other daughter-in-law is to face everything, the problem. So now one old man was going to the operation table. So before the operation, before the surgery, it was his daughter-in-law who was operating him. Just before he was given the anesthesia, administered the anesthesia, father-in-law called the daughter-in-law and told, "My dear daughter, Betty, you're going to do the operation. You need not worry whether the operation will be successful or not. But remember one thing. What is that? If something happens to me in the operation, if I die, then your mother-in-law who was staying with me will come to you and live with you in your house. So if you keep this in mind, then the operation will be successful." So that day, the operation was so well performed because with this thought, if now father-in-law dies, the mother-in-law who is there will come and live with the daughter-in-law. So she did the operation with so much of care and speciality that the operation was successful. So the father-in-law used this technique. So there you can find the duality or the pair of opposites here too, because we gave so many different examples, but we didn't give this example. So like that, there are so many pairs of opposite in the whole world is full of this. So no experience is permanent. You need to deal with every experience with a clear understanding of its impermanent nature. So the word titiksha means endurance, patience, forbearance, a capacity to put up with difficulty cheerfully. Since the world constantly presents you with the pairs of opposite, you are bound to face certain situations, environments, beings, and things which may be opposite to your preference. Understand the undesirable as an inevitable facet of life. Whatever needs correction, set it right if possible. If not, practice titiksha with the philosophical outlook. What is that? Even this will pass away. So we have come to a wonderful phase. Even this will pass away. So this story of even this shall pass away is told in Persia, in Turkey, in the Jewish Old Testament stories, and even in Buddhistic stories. The same thing in different, the king will be different and the minister, the person who is telling that story will be different, but the same story is very popular everywhere. So this too shall pass. Now, I just want to tell you that story, beautiful story, which will help to overcome all problems. What are they? The story of King Solomon's ring. This is a popular folklore as told by David Franco from Turkey. It contains a very important lesson that relates to the Buddhist concept of impermanence. So this story in a different ways in Buddhism, in Hinduism, in Persian, Sufi, Islam. So everywhere we find it. Now we need not go to all the details. We'll just take the essence of the story which will help us to get this idea of how to change our attitude and be happy with whatever situation is. This wonderful story is one day Solomon decided to humble Benai ben Jehoiada, his most trusted minister. He said to him, "Benai, there is a certain ring that I want you to bring to me. I wish to wear it for Sukkot, which gives you 6 months to find it." Then the minister told, "If it exists anywhere on earth, your majesty, I will find it and bring it to you. But what makes the ring so special, your majesty?" Solomon replied, "It has magic powers," answered the king. If a happy man looks at it, he becomes sad. See the condition here. What is the speciality? It has magical powers. What is that magical power? If a happy man looks at it, that happy man becomes sad. And if a sad man looks at it, he becomes happy. That is the speciality of the ring. Solomon knew that no such ring existed in the world, but he wished to give his minister a little taste of humility. He wanted to humble him. Spring passed and then summer, and still the minister had no idea where he could find the ring. On the night before this Sukkot, that festival, he decided to take a walk in one of the poorest quarters of Jerusalem. He passed by a merchant who had begun to set out the day's wares on a shabby carpet. Now the minister asked him, "Have you by any chance heard of a magic ring that makes the happy wearer forget his joy and broken-hearted wearer forget his sorrow?" So the minister asked that person. He watched that grandfather, the old man grandfather, take a plain gold ring from his carpet and engrave something on it. When that minister read the words on the ring, his face broke out into wide smile because he was in sorrow. He couldn't get that ring. Seeing that, his face, it changed. So a person who reads that, if he's in sorrow, sorrow will go away. If a person who is happy, if he reads that, his happiness will go away. That was the speciality of the ring. So now he broke into smile, wide smile. That night the entire city welcomed in the holiday of Sukkot with great festivity. "Well, my friend," said the Solomon, "have you found that I sent you after?" All the ministers laughed, and Solomon himself smiled. To everyone's surprise, the minister held up a gold ring and declared, "Here it is, your majesty." As soon as Solomon read the inscription, the smile vanished from his face. The jeweler had written 3 Hebrew letters on the gold band. What is that? Gimel, Zayin, Yud, which began the words Gam Ze Ya Avor. What is the meaning? This too shall pass. This too shall pass. At that moment, Solomon realized that all his wisdom and fabulous wealth and tremendous power were but fleeting things. It will pass. For one day, he would be nothing but dust. So, that lesson of impermanence was taught by this story, wonderful story, isn't it? That you can find in almost all the religions. This too shall pass, etched on it, which had the desired effect to make a person happy when he is sad. It also, however, became a curse for whenever he is happy, because that happiness also shall pass. So both happiness and sorrow are fleeting. So if you want to be permanently happy, yes, know that this world is full of dualities. Do not get upset by that. So now this story has made so many things clear. But here, again and again, Matra Sprashastu Kaunteya Shetoshna Sukadukadaha Agamahapaino Anitya Hatam Titikshasva Bharata. So the word Titikshasva is coming, which we have to go deeper into it and find out the meaning. What is this Titiksha which we are speaking about? What is that we have to know about it is very, very important. So now in Viveka Chudamani, we hear about this word Titiksha explained in detail by Shankaracharya. But if we also get the beautiful explanation of Titiksha by none other than that great Swami Vivekananda, another great Acharya, Yuga Acharya of this period, the same thing what Shankaracharya told at that time. What is that Titiksha? Sahanam sarvadukkanam apratikar purvakam chinta vilaparahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. So this is stated, this verse comes in Vivek Chudamani. I think we are also studying Vivek Chudamani. In the future we will be studying about that. But now, because it has come here, the word Titiksha has come. So we should know about it. How has Swami Vivekananda explained about it? Beautifully. Because it's very practical, it's very scientific, it's very analytical. He puts it in a logical way. Now let us see what Swami Vivekananda tells. We have another 3 more minutes. We will try to see the words of Swami Vivekananda and we will continue it in the next class. Now Swami Vivekananda in his complete works is telling, while talking about Uparati, then after Uparati it is Titiksha. Now comes Uparati, which consists in not thinking of things of the senses, because now we are talking about, Krishna is telling about senses only. Agama apayanaha nityaha is about the senses. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Most of our time is spent in thinking about sense objects, things which we have seen or we have heard, which we will see or we shall hear, things which we have eaten or are eating or shall eat, places where we have lived and so on. We think of them and talk of them most of our time. One who wishes to be a Vedantin must give up this habit. Then comes the next preparation. It is hard task to be a philosopher. Titiksha. Swami Vivekananda is coming to now Titiksha, the most difficult of all. But now Swami Vivekananda, after explaining, he makes it very easy. It is nothing less than the ideal of forbearance. Now he takes up one special English saying, resist not evil. Now Swami Vivekananda explains, this requires a little explanation. We may not resist an evil, but at the same time, we may feel very miserable. A man may say very harsh things to me. See, now practical things are coming up. Swami Vivekananda is explaining with our day-to-day example how this Titiksha or how this verse of Sri Krishna is being explained in our day-to-day example. So what is that beautiful example? A man may say very harsh things to me and I may not outwardly hate him for it, may not answer him back, and may restrain myself from apparently getting angry. But anger, hatred may be in my mind and I may feel very badly towards that man within. So here what is happening in the mind is important. Externally you may show a laughing face. You may smile even while being scolded by the boss or somebody senior. But what is happening in your heart, in your mind is important. So that is titiksha. A man may be very harsh, may say very harsh things to me. I may not outwardly hate him for it. I may not answer him back outwardly, may restrain myself from him apparently getting angry. But anger and hatred may be in my mind, and I may feel very badly towards that man. So this is not non-resistance. That's more important, because external things is not important. What is happening inside, that suppressed energy, the negative energy will stay there and cause you all diseases and psychological disorder. So most of the diseases are psychosomatic. They tell 95% of the diseases are psychosomatic, that is mind related psychosomatic diseases. So how do you control your mind? How do you not allow these thoughts to affect you is called titiksha. So you may feel badly towards that man inward. This is not non-resistance. I should be without any feeling of hatred or anger, without any thought of resistance. My mind must then be as calm as if nothing has happened. And only when I have got to that state, I have attained to non-resistance, that is titiksha, and not before that. Forbearance of all misery, even without a thought of resisting or driving it out, without even any painful feeling in the mind or any remorse. This is titiksha. See there, Shankaracharya explained that for those days, 700-800 years back, to that society. Sahanam sarvadukkanam apratikar purvakam chinta vilaparahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. But now this great Acharya, the Shiva Avatar Swami Vivekananda, is explaining to the present day context so nicely, logically, scientifically. You got it. I think I will explain this to you. We will go forward, see study of this particular verse, which is very, very special to our day-to-day life, how we can overcome these thoughts, how to face this unreal world, how the dualities, the two dualities, heat and cold, pleasure and pain, that can be overcome, can be seen in the next class. At the same time, that is next Saturday, we'll be studying the same verse in a different angle and different way by which we can take up so many different day-to-day life examples and try to solve them with the help of Krishna's teaching and Swami Vivekananda's explaining about it. So it will become more clear and clear because it's very scientific. Okay, today, now, we will close this class or discussion on Bhagavad Gita of this 14th chapter in the second verse for now, and we'll continue with that next Saturday at the same time. So we will chant the verse, meditation verse on Bhagavad Gita, and we will close this class. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.